This is Lance Archer, the American Psycho.
This is Brian Thompson, the voice of TCW Wrestling.
This is the original hardcore wrestling and freak of ECW, the one and only Axel Rodney. Yes, this is the Shock Master, and you're listening to Hardcore Wrestling Radio.
Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Hardcore Wrestling Radio. I'm the Shining Star Rick Star, and of course we got a full house tonight. First, he's my sidekick, he's the son of a bitch, Andy. Andy, how are we doing tonight?
I'm not doing too bad apart from a bossed eardrum, but I'm struggling by.
And of course from the CWA, we have Joseph Knight. Joe, how are we doing?
Freezing in Erie, Pennsylvania, but I'm doing fine. I got a nice warm cup of coffee with me.
And from the Who Dat Temple, we have James from the Big Easy. James, what's up?
It's better than yesterday being out there in the freaking cold for 4 hours doing referee and flag football.
Oh, not fun at all. And over from youtube.com/LanceMossTV, we have the incomparable Lance Moss. Lance, how are we doing?
Nice and warm in my bedroom, so I'm doing pretty good.
And we got the Bay Area MVP, known as Will. Will, what's up? He's not here. Okay, we'll get back to Will another time. And, of course, for the fourth week consecutive, we have to welcome back Jaque Schitt.
What's the matter? Can't catch your tongue?
Yeah, just a little bit.
You could see the shade of red he's blushing right now. It's very interesting.
Ooh! Oh, Rick. Ooh!
Shut up, kid.
Anyway, let's move on, shall we?
Yeah, let's move on indeed. Well, guys, we're going to start with the stories with Sting leaving TNA. This week, Sting's going to be facing Magnus in a title versus contract match. And, of course, if Sting loses, he must leave TNA forever. Now, it's well known that Sting, this could be Sting's farewell match. There's been a lot of rumors that, everybody, WrestleMania time, that he could, they're going to try to get him over to WrestleMania. The WWE's been trying to get him. What do you guys think about this? Andy, I'm going to kick it over to you.
2 words. Bullshit. I remember not that long ago in TNA, Sting won't even have a title match ever in his career as long as he's working for TNA.
That is correct. He said he wanted this one more match, and that's why that's why it was a title versus career. So it was an exception to the rule, I guess.
Don't you think it's a bit carved in stone that Sting's gone? It's a bit blatantly obvious. Do you really see Sting as the TNA World Champion at his time of life? Because if they are putting the title on a late 50-year-old wrestler, it just goes to show how much TNA sucks. When they've got 22, 23-year-old stars in the back, giving their backside week in, week out, and some 50-year-old has-been comes in and takes the biggest title on TNA's roster. Just ridiculous.
All right, Joe, I know you're ready for a good TNA rant, and your thoughts about Sting heading out, possibly TNA. Your thoughts?
If he has to do this. He's done as much as possible to stop that TNA Titanic from sinking. I mean, he's literally held the ship above water long enough. He's not getting any younger. It's about time Sting takes that big payday in the WWE, goes to WrestleMania. I'm not saying fight The Undertaker. I mean, just get into Hall of Fame, do an appearance at Royal Rumble, do something at WrestleMania, collect that paycheck, and look back and let the WWE product machine, merchandise machine, pull out Sting dolls, Sting DVDs, Sting T-shirts. Let him get some royalties from there. The man deserves it. He's done everything for NWA, WCW, UWF, and finally TNA. It's time for Sting to say bye to jump off the Dixie train because it's heading on a collision with another train. You can't do no more with it. If Sting becomes the TNA World Champion, I think it's a waste. because there's nobody else he can defend it against, and there's no other person that can step up to take it. Sting, Steve Boardman, take your bags, pack it up, say goodbye to Dixie, make a fool out of her like everybody else has, and walk off to McMahon Land for that one time. Even if it's for 3 months, take it.
All right. James, your thoughts. Do you think Sting should just maybe, take the world title and try to stay on, or you think WWE bound?
I feel like this is a WWE bound thing. Because basically the contract, his thing with TNA is a year for year, but TNA is just a sinking ship. What can you do? What can you do left in TNA?
Fair enough. Will, are you back with us? Nope, guess not. All right. And Lance, your thoughts?
Yes. This is Sting's way out. I mean, but if he might have another option other than WWE. Jeff Jarrett is, from what we hear, is starting up another organization. So what I think he should do, go to Vince, get that big payday, and after that whole contract, after he gets inducted in the Hall of Fame, maybe has his one Mania match, maybe, and the non-compete clauses up on that contract, because we all know Vince probably has them in there. After all that's done, go maybe wrestle for Jeff.
Okay. And that's actually something real quick I wanted to talk about, because we know that Jeff Jarrett, who is gone from TNA, he's actually out making recorded reports, is building another promotion, guys. Real quick, Andy, what do you think about that?
Just unmute my microphone. Sorry about that. He started a company with his dad called TNA and sold it because he couldn't cope, and I think the same thing's going to happen again. I think the bloke has got big ideas but just doesn't know what to do with them. It's going to be a 5-minute wonder.
5-minute wonder, just like TNA was okay. Joe, do you think that Jeff Jarrett will make the same mistakes as he did in TNA, or do you think he could possibly do it right this time?
I think after the experience he just had with TNA, if Jeff is actually getting all his money to get the sponsors and everything to redo a company, I think he's going to be a lot smarter. He's going to be a lot better for it. And he's going to know, just like Eric Bischoff in WCW, today's Eric Bischoff knows what he did wrong and will not repeat it if he ran a company. Jeff Jarrett is the same thing. He saw what's happening in TNA. He knows he can't change anything, so he's going to try it one more time. And hopefully, he can take it off this time. But I have to disagree with Sting going to wrestle for him, Lance. Sting, after being with Vince, he should just take the time off. Don't worry about wrestling. If he's going to come back, be a color commentator, be a GM, whatever. If he is going to go to Jeff, let him go to Jeff as that. But
I'm just saying, like, if he wants to, go for it. I wouldn't blame him.
Yep.
All right, well, let's move along real quick. Last week we were really talking about, like, our Hall of Fame picks, and we kind of, one of the guys, of course, we all agreed on that who should be in the Hall of Fame is Owen Hart. And I read on a little news bit that Bret Hart, his brother, Owen, found a loophole where how Owen Hart can get into the Hall of Fame. And he said this, that Bret Hart talks that, how he could possibly induct the whole Bret Hart Foundation. Of course, that would be Bret, his brother Owen, Davey Boy Smith, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, and of course Brian Pillman, the late Brian Pillman. That way, it could honor the whole Hart Foundation and not just Owen. And that way, Martha Hart can't say, "Well, you're just inducting Owen. You're inducting the whole family." Andy, I know you have something to say about this, Andy. So I'm going to start with you.
Well, as I said on the pre-show, I personally don't think Jim the Anvil Neidhart deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, and neither has Brian Pillman, because to me, to be in the Hall of Fame, you've got to do something rememberable, and I don't remember either of them doing anything that I thought, wow, I would be proud to show that video moment that they've done to my friends and family that are not wrestling fans. I challenge anyone out there to say, pick me a good Jim the Neidhart match or a good Brian Pillman match that a non-wrestling person would like, but I know I could put any Hulk Hogan fight on and people would enjoy it because he is Hulk Hogan. So, from my perspective, they shouldn't be inducted in the Hall of Fame at all. And if they're going to induct those, I'm sorry, deeply offensive that they haven't put, I can't think, Dynamite Kid. Dynamite Kid was as much as the Hart family as anybody that's on that list, in my opinion.
Andy, one thing about that. We're talking the Hart Foundation, not the Hart family.
Yeah, but although he was never classed as an Hart Foundation, if you start talking about people who had any contact with the Hart family, you tell me that Dynamite Kid's name doesn't come into it.
It's a valid point.
Yeah, he wasn't a member of the Hart Foundation. It was pre-Hart Foundation. But he is more memorable than Jim Neidhart and Brian Pillman put together. There isn't many wrestlers who are wrestling today in their mid to late 30s that haven't got anything bad to say about Dynamite, apart from when his career went down the toilet. Another one of our people that we say should be in the Hall of Fame, Chris Benoit, was his idol. Everybody just loved the guy, Dynamite Kid. Yeah, he's turned into a bit of a mess now, and he's been nothing but disrespectful when he went out of the business, but it was his own fault he went out of the business. But doesn't everybody get bitter when you get kicked out of a company that you like? Have we never worked for a company, even if it's Walmart, and get the sack, and you hate every branch of Walmart?
Yeah, and I think we've seen a lot of wrestlers who've been bitter and come back. I mean, look at the Ultimate Warrior. I mean, they actually slated him. But I think so, and it's a fair point, Andy. James, what's your thoughts on this?
I mean, Andy has a point with Jim the Anvil Neidhart, but Brian Pillman, I mean, he's your mixed bag, but I think he kind of does deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. And if this is the only way to get on in, my God, by gosh, I'd just do it. Shoot.
The only thing is, though, when you think about it, we don't. I don't want to see Owen Hart in the Hall of Fame as a family, because there's no one there who's going to be representing Owen. Now, when people like the Big Boss Man, when he passed away, was it his son or somebody, came and collected his award, who was actually going to collect Owen's award on their behalf?
Bret.
Which is going to suck, because we would like to see Owen's wife in the ring so the fans could pay respect to her.
She's not going to. It's
just not going to happen.
You got a better chance of seeing Chris Benoit on national television.
Well, can I have another suggestion?
I don't think she's ever going to go in until she can just let go.
Well, not even that. How about this? How about when their kids get older? How about if their kids get older and they say, we want him inducted?
Yeah.
Is that a possibility? Do the kids have a right to say, hey, look, we want our father inducted in the Hall of Fame?
They probably already have. It's just she's a bitter bitch. There's no other word for it. How can she blame the WWE?
Well, you know what? Let's bring in Jaque Schitt. I mean, we know she's not familiar, but Jaque, let's say hypothetically you had a husband who was a wrestling fan and was a wrestler, and he died in the ring. Would you want him to be inducted, or would you just? How would you feel about that? How would your personal thoughts on that? Would you want him inducted, or would you just continue to?
Well, I think the main question is: would you blame the company, or would you just would you not blame the company? Because that's where it really falls down to.
It would be the same thing as blaming the military for your husband's death. Like that's the profession he chose. So why wouldn't he be inducted into the Hall of Fame?
I have seen, like Rick, obviously because you're a noob to wrestling, but I have seen the video. And the video, Life and Death of Owen Hart, quite clearly states, after that little spell before he died, he was prepared to hang his boots up and go home. Now, I am a big Owen Hart fan, and I don't wish to be respectful. If that bloke was supposedly shit scared to do a parasail down into the ring, why didn't he grow a pair of bollocks and say to Vince, I ain't doing it, where's my boots, see ya? He didn't, so he gave his life for wrestling. Was it a good thing? No, it wasn't. It was a shame. A decent guy went. But he knew exactly what he was doing. No one held a gun to his head. Everyone keeps saying the WWE made him do it. I'm sorry, if someone said to me, here's $10,000, go and jump off that 30-story block of flats, I'd say, go and screw yourself. He should have grown a pair of bollocks and said, if what the video is true, he should have told them bollocks. He didn't need to. He didn't need the money.
Yeah.
He did not need the money. And he said he was getting out of wrestling. So what has he got to prove by doing something? He supposedly went to Vince and said, I don't want to do a sex angle with a female diva because my children watch the product. So he stood up to do that. But when it came to doing a dangerous stunt that went completely wrong and supposedly he was afraid of heights, then why didn't he say something? There's a lot of rumours around that he said he was frightened to approach Vince because he turned him down on that many times. Bullshit. He was after the big paycheck and it went tits up, unfortunately.
Oh. Okay, well, you know what? Let's try to hear from Bay. Are you with us? I think Bay's,
Bay's trying to understand the rules of American football.
Well, I'm not watching football. Yeah, I was hearing you guys talk about Owen Hart and everything, and I was thinking about it deep in thought. I'm here.
All right. So, what are your thoughts about Bret Hart considering inducting the whole Bret Hart Foundation as opposed to inducting just Owen Hart as a single person? What do you think about that? Little loophole.
I don't think it's gonna vote so well. I mean, we could talk all day about the matches they had and the Hart lineage of the family and the dungeon and everything, but I don't think this would bode so well. I mean, I think the whole Hart family should just go in together. I mean, look at the family wrestlers we have. It's Bret, Owen, the Anvil, Natalia. We can sit here all day about that, but I don't think it's going to work. Towards his foundation, I never knew he even had one. To be very honest, I never knew he had one.
It's the wrestling group from the little before the Attitude Era.
Correct.
Do you know something that we're overlooking?
Thank you, Lance. You're smart.
You know something that everyone's overlooking, and I'll mention Chris Benoit in this comment.
Who? Isn't the WWE the guy that they don't talk about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Beep. I think we've got to accept the fact that Owen Hart is not going to go in. Yes, he deserves to be in. I think we've all got to accept the fact that Owen Hart, in the current state that we've got at the moment, while his wife is still alive, is not going to be inducted in the Hall of Fame. And I'll give you a reason why. The same reason why Chris Benoit will not be in the Hall of Fame. Not because he was supposedly a murderer. Who is going to collect the award on their behalf? Is there anybody in the Benoit family that are going to stand up on that stage knowing that the WWE really don't want to induct the guy, but they're forced to do it? I wouldn't.
There is Benoit.
Because I know his father, Benoit's father, has basically disassociated himself with his own son. And he worshipped his own son.
I thought his father was the one who stood up and said, who was the one who was saying, no, it wasn't, it was, Owen Hart had brain damage and it wasn't, really his fault. And he was going to bat for him.
With Christopher Nowinski, until they found out that most of them test results were bullshit.
Yeah. Which I to this day, I think, I mean, it's debatable as to what really happened in that house. I
guarantee... We all know Chris Benoit's had loads of concussions, and so has Mick Foley. I guarantee if Mick Foley has to have an autopsy when he dies and they cut his brain open, he'll make Chris Benoit's brain look like a 13-year-old. Chris Benoit's brain will look like a 13-year-old's. Has Mick Foley killed anybody? So putting it down to having brain damage is bullshit. I really believe
I totally agree with
he's got
100%.
Mental health issues. Somebody should have seen it. And if you look at the MVP, the wrestler, interview on the internet, he actually says in the changing room he was a different person than he was when he was in the wrestling ring. And he said he had mental health issues, he needed to see a psychiatrist, but everyone overlooked it because when you know that you've got a friend who's not quite all there and he sits in the corner rocking backwards and forwards wearing a straitjacket, you give him a wide berth. You don't go and put their hand on the shoulder and say, can we help you? You are scared of people with mental health issues, and that's exactly what he had. He had a mental health issue, nothing to do with steroids, nothing to do with a brain injury. He had stress, a stress-related illness, which is a nasty piece of shit, and it should be dealt with in wrestling, and it's ignored.
All right. Well, let's get on to one of our new segments that's been pretty popular here. It's You Don't Know Jack Shit About Wrestling, and that's been a little bit popular here. Jack, we have a couple questions you wanted to ask us for this week.
Well, yeah, I mean, earlier this week, Rick was talking about, a blow-off, and so I told him, go ahead, sure, drop your pants, but he told me, no, that's not what he's talking about, so you guys are going to have to explain this to me.
I knew she was going to say that.
Well, I thought a blow-off is the sound that you do just before you chuck out a chocolate log. I thought it's the obligatory. I think I can kind of explain that sound before the chocolate log drops out.
I think I can. It's kind of like the end of a big feud. Kind of. Joe might be able to. Am I right on that one?
Yeah. Well, there's two different definitions of a blow-off. Basically, it is the end of a feud, or what they see when a scenario is or storyline is not working correctly or it's not getting the attention. Then it becomes they just get rid of it. It's blowed off.
But does it when they have the word blow off? Does it cost them money?
No, basically,
because I know if I went to see a hooker and I said how much for a blow off, she'd probably say about $10.
Wow, you're seeing the cheap ones then, aren't you?
Yeah, don't go to New York.
Yeah, these don't swallow.
Yeah.
These don't swallow, and you can't guarantee the females.
Well, let's move on to the next question.
Gets even worse, though.
All right. Again, there's a word that Rick said to me, hard way. Once again, I told him drop his pants, but he said no. Again, not what I'm talking about. All right.
It's easier to have sex when it's the hard way than it is when it's the soft way.
And for the records, folks, when she told me to drop my pants, that's what I'm talking about. But I did oblige her and dropped my pants, so
Yeah, but what you didn't say is, Rick, you dropped your pants and she said, I don't fancy a cigarette, put yourself away.
Touché.
I've just put my cigarette out. My girlfriend said that to me. I put my penis in her hand when we were in bed one night. She says, I've just put a cigarette out, do you mind?
Well, luckily neither of us smoke, so we don't have to worry about that.
So, gentlemen, what in the wrestling terms, what does the hard way mean?
Shall I take this?
Sure, Joe, go ahead.
Geez. See, now, thank you, perverted people. I'm thinking of other things now.
Well, this is hardcore wrestling radio, so you never know.
The hard way is bleeding technically without blading. It means if you, and I talked to Rick about this in the panel before, the hard way to bleed is if you're afraid of blading, if you don't want, God forbid, you don't want New Jack blading you or Abdullah blading you, you do it the hard way, which is actually getting hit by a chair or some sort of object. And perfect example is if you look back at WrestleMania 3, Hercules Hernandez versus Billy Jack Haynes. Billy Jack was supposed to bleed, and he did not want to cut him. So he told Hercules, hey, hit me with your chain as hard as possible. and make me bleed. If you notice on the actual uncut version of WrestleMania 3, Hercules hits him twice. The second time makes him bleed. That is the hard way.
All right, Jack, and the final question for this week.
Well, he used the word hot tag in a sentence, and I said, well, isn't that the thing you do on Twitter with, like, the pound sign? He said, no, that's a hashtag. Hot tag is something different, so I need you guys to explain that to me.
The hot tag basically is if you're watching a professional wrestling tag team match, you're seeing the guy gets beaten up. The partner's getting beaten up. Every time he tries to go tag, the enemy team pulls him back, and they continue pounding on him. The hot tag is when the partner finally leaps across the ring, tags his partner, and his partner comes in and claims house. So it's kind of like this exciting build-up to a tag match. You wait for it to happen. Your partner's getting beat up. He finally makes that leap of faith, tags you in, and you just take over. That is a hot tag.
All right, thank you, Joe, and of course, thank you, Jack, for this week's You Don't Know Shit About Jack about Wrestling. And as always, guys, we'll have more questions, and if any of our listeners and subscribers have a question for Jack Schitt or want to add some more wrestling terms for Jack Schitt that she might not know, feel free to send them in over at our YouTube page at www.youtube.com/HWR show. But let's move on. Now, guys, we know that we always get on the Diva division, how it's really not that great. And now the Bellas are thinking about getting on their own Divas tag team titles. You know what? I'm going to kick this over to James. James, your thoughts?
Well, why are you kicking it up to me? Why? I don't like.
You are the wrestling god of divas.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Joseph. Anyway,
Sonya's number one fan with Billy.
Bump.
Yeah, No, Annie, no. Anyway, when it comes to the Divas, I don't think it would work like how the tag team division in TNA with the knockouts would worked. I don't see, besides the Bellas and the Funkadactyls, really, who could be a tag that can face up against the Bellas, the Funkadactyls? You just could put random people. It's like, oh, you can have this, have these two. I just don't see it. I mean, yeah, the Divas division is kind of improving because of Fit Finley, but I just don't see a tag team division in the Divas.
I think the only reason why the Ballas want a tag team division is they suck as individuals.
Yeah.
And they need to justify, apart from they go out with two of the top stars in the company, why they've actually got a job. Because, yeah, they're very nice eye candy. Can they wrestle as singles? No. If you see them wrestling as singles, within 5 minutes, their match is done. They can't go 30 minutes in a match singly.
So, you really, Andy, so in other words, you don't think that this is a really good idea to have a tag team division? So
I would like to see a tag team division because it would get more divas on TV. But I think the Ballas are doing it for their own ends, their own gain, because they know they've got nothing to give the WWE apart from them being banged by two of the toppest guys.
Yeah.
And I think Vince is probably taking a step back because I haven't seen the program, but I've spoke to Rick about the program, about the Diva program, and John Cena basically got his missus to sign a prenup deal when she moved in his house. That's not a good ground for a marriage.
It's not marriage.
Yeah, but I mean, just moving in. What I'm saying is, do you really think them pair are going to get it on properly? They're just going to be boyfriend and girlfriend forever, or they're just going to fall apart. And when they fall apart, you know what it's like. When you've got the female and the male working for the same company and they've been in a relationship and it's fallen apart, it doesn't work. It causes problems and somebody has to go. And unfortunately, if Nikki Bella or Brie Bella finish with John Cena and...
it's Nikki, but yes.
Daniel Bryan, I think the other Balor day will be numbered because they won't want one without the other. The Balors come as a pair. They are just like the Dudleys, and they won't keep one and get rid of the other, so they'll be both gone. That's why they're hoping they can stick around a bit longer, if that does happen, as tag teams. But I can't ever see the WWE sacking one but keeping the other. They'll either go together or they'll be... I mean, when they got rid of them before, they both went. They didn't keep one and get rid of the other, so they are just looking for their own interest.
All right, Will, your thoughts? Tag team division, yes or no for Divas?
Hell no, ratings down. Everybody just kick it out the way before they lose millions. Next.
All right, Lance, for you, yes or no on the Divas tag team division?
Well, I don't think the Divas division is strong enough to support a tag team division, Divas tag team division at the moment. So, no.
All right. Okay. And you know what? Joe, your final thoughts, yes or no, on a tag team division?
Oh, God, no. It's just like the knockouts. They have a horrible knockout division. The WWE doesn't have enough divas. Even if Finley does the miracle of training them to be supreme wrestling machines, they will. It's still not enough people. The last time they had a women's tag team division was back in the late 80s with the Jumping Bomb Angels and the Glamour Girls for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. So that's history there. So no, please.
All right. Well, let's move things along. Earlier this week, Kane was a guest on the Kid Chris show, and the host asked if he was speaking to Kane or Isaac Yankem, and I guess Kane didn't like this joke, and he hung on him within seconds later. You know what, Joe, I'm going to ask you, what's your take on that?
I think, no offense, but I think Kane was being an asshole there because, it's part of who he was. He was Dr. Isaac Yankem. He was Kane, the Masked Kane. He was, now corporate Kane. I think it's part of your gimmick. When they talk about Hulk Hogan, they talk about Hollywood. They talk about red and yellow Hogan. I just say he showed, he really showed his arrogant side. He's like, well, hey, I don't want to discuss that. That's probably to him, it's a bad mark in his history. But it's part of your history. It's like Kevin Nash saying he's Vinny Vegas or Oz. He didn't like it, but he acknowledges it. So
it's who he was.
He jokes about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think Kane should have just joked about it, done the show, and get it over with.
Yeah. Now, Lance, actually, this was something that you wanted to bring to the show, so I'm going to give you I want your thoughts on this, on how Kane reacted.
Well, to me, I kind of do think he kind of went assholey a little bit, but on the other hand, I think we all know the one thing WWE does not like is us remembering our wrestling history. I also think they could have had a part in them. Oh, if one of your former gimmicks gets brought up, disconnect immediately because they can't.
Okay.
Vince and the talent relations and all that can be pricks about that shit.
All right. Will, what do you think about the Kane hanging up on a radio show over a simple question, an honest question? It wasn't really rude.
He's not in at the moment.
Okay, then we'll move right on along.
Yeah.
Andy, what's your thoughts?
Well, as I said before, I think Kane is old school. He doesn't like to talk about kayfabe stories, knowing everything that goes on backstage. To him, Isaac Yankem is a different character, a completely different person, who he probably wants to disassociate with. It's only the true hard fans that probably would know. Pretty much the same as Rey Mysterio denies all knowledge of being the same Rey Mysterio Jr. in WCW without his mask on. It's just not him. It's a subject you don't talk about. All I can say is I don't know the guy. I only heard about the story tonight. But Kid is it Kid Chris radio show?
Kid Chris, correct,
if you're
yes.
listening to our radio show, why not give us a call next week on Skype? We'll give you the Skype details later. This is a call out for Kid Chris radio show. Come on our show next week, and I'll show you what taking the piss out of somebody is really like.
And he means it.
That's a personal invitation from the son of a bitch himself. All right. And you know what? Last but not least, James, your thoughts.
I feel like it's just something he just wants to forget about. I think Kane. I kind of have that assumption that it's WWE. But I think it's just him. It's like, you know what? It's just I don't want to talk about this. If I don't like it, I'm just gonna hang up.
Okay.
So I think he just took it out of proportion.
As I said before, anyone who we don't profess to be a professional radio show. We're just a group of guys that enjoy doing what we're doing, and we do it for the shits and giggles. But if you're a professional radio DJ, you do not ridicule your celebrities. And from what I can gather, the guy's show is basically get stars on and ridicule your guests. That's just bad practice, and I just don't see what the guy gets out of it. Yeah, take the piss out of your friends, take the piss out of callers, but when a celebrity who earns more money in a week than he's earned in his lifetime, he thinks he can just go on and disrespect him by asking him a douchebag question. Come on, kid. Get your arse in gear. Get on HWR radio show and have a tat-a-tat with me. Go on, let's get it on. Let's do a shoot now. Get it on, motherfucker.
Wow. Well, let's move things along. Hulk Hogan, as we all remember last year when he was had that little sexcapade with Heather Clem, was recorded, and Gawker.com actually had it out on their website for a long time. But of course, Hulk Hogan had it, seized, and the courts, of course, had it off the websites. But just recently, they had, the courts had an appeal, and they had a temporary order banning order release it, so it's now back on the websites. So right now, if you go to Gawker.com, you can actually see Hulk Hogan's ass bumping up and down to Heather Clem. Who would want to? Not me, but for those of you freaks who really need to see it, it's up there.
Is it red and yellow?
I didn't look that long. His ass might be a little red, but I don't know if it's yellow.
In my honest opinion, this is a publicity stunt from Heather Clem, Hulk Hogan, and Bubba the Love Sponge. Always has been. I agree with
you 100%.
From day
Thank
one.
You.
We had a little brief excerpt when it was on YouTube before it got pulled in its entirety, and trust me, it's not nice. It's like watching your granddad fist fuck himself.
Yeah, pretty much.
He is posing to the camera. Hidden cameras, CCTV cameras, he's trying to say. I have never seen an high-definition CCTV camera, and I do it for a living. I am yet to see one. This was high-def, moving cameras whilst he is having sex. This was set up if ever I've seen it. He's even doing his hair, what bit of hair he's got, before he climbs on top of the bitch. He knew that was being filmed. Whether he knew it was going to get put on the internet. But if he didn't, how naive are you? If you're a celebrity, you have sex, and someone can make money out of selling it, they will. So, for him to say he knows nothing about it, bullshit. They're all in it to make a bit of money. If you haven't already seen it, I suggest you go on a torrent website and download it free, because if they put it for 99 cents, it ain't even worth 22 cents, trust me.
Well,
it's like watching two dogs in the street on a main road when the traffic's busy. It's a quick in and out, and he's done and dusted. He's in and out that quick. You don't even know he's done anything. His leg drop takes longer. And I swear, she's in a bed, one of those four-poster beds with curtains all the way around, and I'm sure at one point you see him pull his dick out and wipe it on the curtains. Proper class. Brother.
Gotta throw in the brother.
Yeah, you do. Now, the thing, and again, with the Heather, this whole situation with the Heather Clem, they even mentioned straight up that Bubba the Love and Heather Clem were having sex with several other celebrities, during like 6 or 7, 8 month period, and Hulk Hogan was living with them, so it's not like they didn't know this.
Well, the thing is, they've both come out and said, now, what kind of people is Hulk Hogan hanging round? Because I've never hung round a couple that have actually said to me, hey, tell you what, my life would love bang the arse off you. If you want to go upstairs and shag a mate, it's fine with me. What kind of relationship has he got with his wife?
No, obviously not that great of one if he needs to have, watching him have sex with other guys.
I don't think I'd be too impressed if my partner was having sex whilst I was watching. I'm sorry, you've got to be pretty screwed in the head to sit and jerk off whilst watching your wife having sex with your best mate.
Yeah, that's a little crazy. Joe, what's your thoughts on all this?
Basically, again, I agree. It's a publicity stunt. I think by taking it to court, they've just made it more valuable and more public. So, because if anything, in any type of movie, whether it be porno, whether it be regular film, a documentary, you have to get signed permission to do it. Even if you're friends, you still want to have a signed agreement. Obviously, the cameras are rolling around. He's doing his thing there. For it to be now available for everybody to buy, watch, whatever have you, it was a complete setup from the beginning. And if it isn't, Hulk Hogan is basically the biggest moron of all time. And he must
have the worst solicitor in the world. Because as you were saying, even when I'm doing my paranormal investigation, I have to get everyone there sign a disclaimer.
Absolutely.
That they will not get royalties unless royalties are actually paid. I can post it on YouTube, Facebook, as long as they've done it. I mean, there are quite a few of my videos that are on there where people's faces are pixelated because they would not give me permission. I am breaking the law by putting them on unless I disguise their face. So Hulk Hogan wouldn't even have to take it to court. It would instantly be pulled off the internet because it is illegal to film someone without their permission.
Absolutely.
Even if you're walking down your local high street with your camcorder in your hand, someone can turn around and prosecute you unless you ask for their permission. You cannot just film people and put it on the internet. It's illegal.
Even in their own home?
No. You can film your own family, but you can't film people that you don't know, strangers, without their permission.
Even if Hulk Hogan was staying as a family friend with Bubba the Love Sponge and his family, regardless of anything, if you're going to do something of this magnitude, okay, and you're going to, and you know it's videotaped, okay, for Hulk Hogan to just say, go ahead, brother, go ahead, film it, I don't care. For him to do that, and it's known that Bubba lets his wife do anybody else, and obviously there has to be some form of agreement to say, okay, you can't sue me for this. And if Hulk Hogan, if they made it public, maybe he thought that it was just for their little private sex collection or something like that. And it obviously didn't turn out that way. So now the tape is more valuable for people who want to see Hulk Hogan. That's a new form of Hulkamania, you know.
The technical term is, and I'm sure Joseph can verify this if he's done any video work. If he's done any video work on his shows, which I believe he has. I've seen some of his videos, but you cannot video anybody without some kind of contract, whether they've signed, yes, I will take royalties, or no, I don't want royalties. And now the law states it's a little phrase, profit or gain. If someone profits or gains from your likeness, you either have to give them permission or sign paperwork taking that permission away and saying you want royalty payments. Exactly. You cannot. It's for profit or gain. If you're making a video and you're making a profit from selling that video, that person has got to have signed an agreement with a yes or a no, but you've got to have a signature, or you will do time in state penitentiary. It's a serious offence.
All right.
It's basically fraud. Hulk Hogan, if you've not seen the video, Hulk Hogan does not wear bright yellow trunks. That is his arse.
Thank you for that vision.
If you can imagine Hulk Hogan having the skin colour almost of Mark Henry, but he's got the arse. He's got the arse of Sheamus.
Makes you wonder if he had the red knee pads and the yellow boots, brother.
As soon as he takes his pants
on
off,
a cider.
God, that guy's got a whiter arse.
I ran out of cider to choke on.
Well, you know what? Let's move along. Lance has some controversy and scandals he'd like to talk about. Lance, what do you got for us?
First off, Rick, thanks for skipping me. I really mean that.
No problems, buddy. No problem.
Okay. One
Just watching the
controversy
video as we were
for
talking.
tonight. It's the Terry Funk
That'll be
incident.
real.
Funk was scheduled to be a special referee in a match between Kevin Nash and Hannibal, a guy in a Great North Wrestling event in May 2010. During the press conference to announce his involvement, an altercation involving Funk and Hannibal damaged his ear and possibly broke his eardrum. You guys' thoughts? I'll go, well, since he's having ear problems already, Andy.
I just think it's Terry Funk trying to get his name out in the public eye again, because I really can't see, although I've seen it before, I don't see Terry Funk being a referee in a match. I'm sure he would have got involved in the match anyway, some way, shape or form. So having a burst eardrum for Terry Funk is just an hazard of the industry he's in. I think it was probably to put bums in seats and sell tickets, and pretty much like when these boxers have this pre-fight chat and it always goes out of hand and fists start flying. It's just to get people to turn up on the night and watch the match. That's my thoughts.
Okay. Bay?
I think Bay is not. I'm not sure if Bay is back, but we're gonna. You know what? I'll add my 2 cents. And I have to agree with Andy Jupiter. I think this goes back to what we were talking earlier about, like Ric Flair, and he's just guys like him who just don't want to let go of the limelight, who just don't want to let go of the spotlight. Terry Funk says, how many times has Terry Funk retired? 5, 6 times, and he keeps on coming back. He doesn't know when to let go.
It's kind of like the Sandman said at one of his retirements. Thanks, Terry. Thanks for having me. Invite me to the next one.
Yeah, exactly.
Rick, are you coming to the end of your feud?
What do you mean?
Well, your voice is trembling. It's like you're having a blow-off.
Yeah, I'm having a bit a blow-off. Yeah. I'm a little bit distracted at the moment. So yeah.
Oh.
Yes, even on HWR.
Well, okay, James, we'll go to you.
There's not much. I mean, this is the first time I actually heard about this incident, because I never heard of, as I said, I never heard of this. But I don't know what happened, and I can't really put my 2 cents into this, really.
And finally, Joe.
I think it was just a way to build up an independent star, and who else do you want to go in there and to help build you is Terry Funk. The situation probably went out of control. Maybe the individual hurt himself and he busted his own eardrum somehow. But I think it's just a way for them to just try to build this independent star or this independent worker.
Yeah, it's a bit like the Iron Sheik and Brian Blair incident. Yes, it was a legit, getting back to Brian Blair and the Iron Sheik, when we spoke to Brian Blair himself, it was a legit, not staged. He went there to make a peace and shake hands, and the Iron Sheik got a cheek pop in. And I think it was, the Iron Sheik knew his videos are not going to sell that many. But the moment there's a bit of controversy, everybody wants to see the incident where the Iron Sheik has a roll around the floor with his ex-feuding partner from 20 years ago, Brian Blair. And I think it sold more videos. And I think maybe Terry Funk was getting this guy a bit of a reputation that he can hurt one of the hardcore wrestlers. He must be tough because he can injure Terry Funk.
Well, I think controversy sells, and that's how it all works with anything. Wouldn't you agree? I mean,
don't you think that it's the same thing with WrestleMania? The build up to WrestleMania over the last 4 years, as far as I'm concerned, has been better than the actual product. They've got us all excited about its WrestleMania, and I don't know if you're like me, but I enjoy my WrestleManias every year, and I never miss one. I sat there and watched WrestleMania last year, and I thought, it's like watching Raw. I was not impressed with any of the show at all.
Yeah.
It was just like watching Raw. I don't know whether I'm just getting, I expect more to happen, or I was bored with the product, but I just thought, is that it? I was looking forward to this for a year, and it was a bit of a downer. So, it's like everything else. They've sold the story. Ooh, Teddy Funk's had his head smashed open, his ears burst, he's got blood pouring all over the place. This guy must be a legitimate wrestler. Let's go buy a ticket and watch the match. I think that's all it is. It's just sales ploy.
It was just a way to make an independent guy look better for this event.
Yeah.
You know, and did it get out of hand? Yes, it did. You know, it just came to that point that, you know, it was just something that you want to build your guy more than anybody. And unfortunately, you know, didn't work out that way.
Now, Rick,
Yep.
Joe has just posted, I don't know if you've seen, Joe's just posted a picture in the chat.
Yeah, hold on. I'm seeing that right now as we check it out.
I don't know if we can put on the Hardcore Wrestling radio page, but if anyone would like to buy one of those, just send us an email and I'm sure we'll put you one in the post.
Yeah, maybe we should put that on the Facebook. Should we put that on the YouTube reel or should we put that on the Facebook page?
I think we should put it on both. Do you want to put your cock in a ballet sock?
I'm just gonna.
I'm not showing jack shit, and
it's funny because a friend of mine posted that on my Facebook, and he said, "Check this out. You're not going to believe this. It's these crazy Europeans." And when I looked at it, I didn't see the full picture. I saw the half, and
I thought that was a banana hammock.
Right. Well, it is a banana hammock.
It looks like a ballet slipper. I think we should play the Nutcracker Suite.
Is it one size fits all, or they have like multi-size?
They sell them in 3 sizes: small, medium, and liar.
And it's called the Willie Kinney.
I'm just gonna say, if Rick puts out a sex tape and he wears that, I don't know, man.
No, it's okay.
Well, the very bottom one, I'm not really sure if it's the very bottom
the pink one.
I'm not sure if it's the bottom one on the right or the second from bottom,
one?
but that looks like Hulk Hogan's.
Autograph.
Right.
Well, listen, before the show gets any more weirder or any more perverted, I think we're going to wrap things up from here, guys. Andy, why don't you tell everyone where they can find you at?
You can find me at www.stokehaunted.com, and just before I hand it over to the other guys, if we do post this picture, and I hope the guys do, if we do post this picture on YouTube or Facebook, God, Tom Hanks let himself go.
He's looking for Wilson again. He's lost his ball again.
You know what? And I am going to post it on the YouTube reel. So it's going on the YouTube reel. Facebook page, I'm going to have to question on that one. But you know what? It'll go on the YouTube reel. You got my word on that one,
It could even
Andy.
be Eric Bischoff looking at the picture.
Well, it definitely is a Dixie Carter.
Yeah. Babe, are you with us?
He went to go get one.
Babe, got to try a sock on.
He's on Amazon.com right now.
James, well, you know what? Why don't you tell where you can both find yourself and Bay over Uvlog?
Well, it's gonna be hard to explain because the links are weird for Uvlog, but you will find us on Uvlog. It's gonna be the Hood for Bay Area MVP and the Who Dat Temple for myself, and you can also find us on the HWR Facebook page. Well, MVP will do me and MVP do the news article. He will do the heels and faces of the week. I do the Divas, Knockouts, Women's Wrestler of the week. But I haven't done much because I've been busy for the last few weeks, so yeah.
All right, Lance, what do you got going over on Lance Moss TV?
Album reviews, NASCAR reviews, a little bit of wrestling stuff, redneck cooking videos, Q&As, and whatever else pops into my head.
And Joe, as always, thanks for coming on. Where can people find you at?
Well, they definitely won't find me ordering that stuff there.
Gee, I was hoping I can get one with with one of your logos on it.
Yeah, if you buy one from the Facebook page, we'll throw in a shithead hat for free.
There you go. No, they can find us on Facebook at Classic Wrestling Association. You can find us on Twitter at Pro Wrestling CWA. You can also find us on YouTube at CWA Classic Pro. You can find us on Instagram at Classic Wrestling Association. And last but not least, on our website at ClassicWrestlingAssociation.com. We're going to do a complete update of our site. So you're going to see brand new talent. You're going to see a whole new format. So keep watching.
CWA gonna have Instagram now? What?
Yep, and buy the Willie Kinney.
Cock in the sock.
Yeah, cock in the sock.
Watch CWA do an app too.
Yep.
And Jaque, as always, thanks for coming on, honey. Why don't you tell everyone where they can find you at?
I am on Zello usually Monday through Friday during the day. For those who don't know what Zello is, it is a multi-platform voice chat application. You can get it on Apple, Android, as well as PC and BlackBerry. And just search for me, Jaque Schitt, JAQUESCHITT.
I spelled that.
And she's usually hanging out in the Numbers channel. So I've been hanging out with her and a bunch of cool guys over there. So, and of course, anytime you want to catch us at Hardcore Wrestling Radio, check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/Hardcore Wrestling Radio. And please like and subscribe our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/HWR Show. So for everyone here, I'm the Shining Star, Rick Star, saying we'll see you when we see you. Thank you for listening to this edition of Hardcore Wrestling Radio. Be sure to follow us on our pages, facebook.com/Hardcore Wrestling Radio and Spreaker.com/HWR Media, and also on youtube.com/HWR Show. Until the next time, this is Rick Starr saying see you when we see you.